Hello, everyone. We're back. Another episode.
Yes.
This time there's no topic. We're just going to be chilling. We're just going to have a nice, easy breezy cover girl episode. Yes. Acer.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good, Daniel. You're getting soft
good?
in your own age. In your old age.
Why? How am I getting soft?
These introductions are getting weaker and weaker. I can feel your power over the podcast diminishing. Soon it shall be mine.
You have been secretly siphoning my energy this entire time.
That's right.
Without my knowing, like the frog in the boiling water.
You know that doesn't work. Also, without you knowing, as if you didn't consciously watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0.
Well, that was like a huge blow right there. That was I could feel my psychic energy just like take a huge hit from that. My meter just like dropped off.
Yeah, we all loved it.
You were the one that recommended it, and even you were like, Jesus, what did they do? They murdered my boy.
Well, I had been told it was very faithful to the manga, and I was like, I guess.
Who the fuck told you that?
My friend told me that.
Literally every second sentence of yours, whenever I made a point, was, well, it wasn't like that in the manga.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was lied to. I was betrayed, Bogan. But I'm very happy we all enjoyed it. How are you doing, Bogan?
Fine. Great.
That's good.
Awesome.
My God.
Boston Red Sox.
I wish we could talk about James Bond today.
I was literally gonna say that so everyone knows we were gonna talk about the new James Bond movie. Boken and I were going to unite together to clown on it.
Uh-oh.
But Acer said no, because Acer is a big fan of the director.
Yes.
He hasn't seen the movie yet, and he doesn't want a peep out of us. So you can all point and aim your ire towards Acer for this missed out content.
That's true. We'll never talk about James Bond also. That's the implication of not talking about it now.
So what is it that this director has done that made you go, ooh?
He made True Detective.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Season 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, my problem with the movie wasn't really the directing. All I'm saying is I don't think the directing was the issue.
No. Sorry.
The script.
He didn't make True Detective. What the hell did he make?
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't know who made that, but I feel like that wasn't someone with the Japanese name.
No, that was Nick Blasio Bluso. He
Blasio
made a.
Okay.
He made a. What the hell did he make? Kerry Fukunaga. He did. I know I like him. I don't know why I like him.
Is that the guy who made Sense and Sensibility?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, I'm looking him up. Kerry Joji.
Oh, he wrote
Fukunaga.
the It movies. The first one, I think. And
Not the second one.
no, he directed a lot on True Detective. I think he directed the first season and he executive produced the whole thing. So he was on True Detective. I was
Okay,
right.
so yeah. Okay. Interesting. But he didn't write any of it.
No, I don't think so.
It says here he did not. So that's interesting. All right. He did write No Time to Die, though. And,
He did?
Hey now.
yeah, he did.
Hey now.
He wrote and directed it. In his defense, the screenplay was also done by 3 other people, and the story was by 2 other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not 100% his fault, but he was the director, so a good chunk of it.
I think he's still getting a sternly written letter from me.
Yeah. Especially for the villain. What a wet fart.
I don't like that actor.
Anyway.
I didn't like him in Bohemian Rhapsody. I think that's the only thing I've seen him in.
Then You shouldn't judge.
No.
He's very good in Mr. Robot.
That show, we were talking about incels earlier. That show has big incel energy. I think I've only seen like 2 screenshots from it though. So
2 screenshots, big incel energy.
I mean, it does. That's the point.
Okay,
that is
I've never seen
literally
it,
the
so-
fucking point of the show.
Weak Bogan. This Rami Malek guy, get him out of here. He's not invited to the podcast.
He's a good actor. Shut up.
You know he's a good actor. You know he's a really good actor. Javier Bardem.
True.
Who?
Daniel.
Did you just say
unsophisticated
who?
as always. He's the villain in Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
I've never watched
He's the
that
villain in
shit.
Skyfall.
I never watched Skyfall.
Oh my god! What the fuck is going on?
Didn't you see Salazar's Revenge?
Actually, this is the only James Bond movie that I've seen from the Daniel Craig era.
Oh.
The only Bond movies
I am
I've
logging
seen.
off, man. This podcast is not worth it.
How have you not seen Casino Royale? It's like a modern masterpiece of an action movie.
I hear it's really good. Yeah.
it's
After
really
watching
good.
after watching this, it made me want to go. Okay, everyone loved that one though.
See,
Let me see if that one.
the Daniel
is still
Craig
good.
movies have been coasting off the goodwill from Casino Royale for like 15 years
No,
now.
I like Skyfall more than
I like
Casino
Skyfall,
Royale.
but
I think Skyfall is a masterpiece, honestly.
I don't think it's See, I think Skyfall is kind of a disaster, but it really that it's a James Bond movie really saves it a lot for me because it's like, yeah, these are James Bond tropes, so I'll ignore this, I'll forgive this. Whereas Casino Royale, that's just a great fucking movie.
I hard disagree with that. I mean,
Yeah,
I love
you're
Casino
wrong.
Royale
You're
too,
wrong.
but I think Skyfall
Your
does not live.
hatred of Casino Royale is showing.
Skyfall has so many anti-Bond tropes.
So
So you're
I
saying the
see-
movie is good because you can see what it does with the tropes?
no, I'm saying all the problems I have with the movie, I can go, well, these are James Bond tropes, so I don't really care. It's a good James Bond
So-
movie, but I don't think it's a good movie on its own.
I
So let me confuse you guys. I have not seen Casino Royale, but I have seen Casino Royale.
Yeah, you saw the first one with David Niven?
I saw the one with Woody Allen.
Why?
That's a good movie.
I don't think Woody Allen is a good actor. I've only seen screenshots of him.
So what's interesting is Casino Royale, which came out in 1968, was kind of a spoof of James Bond movies.
That's true. Also,
And it's interesting that they unironically made a movie called Casino Royale in 2006.
Did you ever see?
It's a James Bond movie.
Did you ever see North by Northwest with, I think, what is it, Gregory Peck? No, it's not Gregory Peck. It's somebody. It's a Hitchcock movie. Did you ever see it?
No.
That's a much better sort of James Bond spoof movie. Because, like, James Bond is this suave, cool womanizer, but the guy in that, he's like, he keeps getting bossed around by his mother and all the women in his life. This guy is real fun.
Going back to
Yeah,
Javier Bardem, though, have you seen No Country for Old Men?
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Okay. He has like the bowl cut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I know it. All right, my bad.
He's also
I'm
in
just
Dune.
bad with like
He's
actor
like
names
he's
'cause
honestly secretly also one of the greatest actors, probably.
he is.
He's
He
fucking
is in
amazing.
fact like a top tier actor. This is true. I agree.
That is true. Do you think No Country for Old Men deserved the Oscar over There Will Be Blood?
What Oscar was that?
The Best Picture Oscar.
Best Picture. Well, I'm on record as not having enjoyed There Will Be Blood. So
Blasphemy.
What? Get the fuck out of here. How dare you?
Daniel
talked about this
Day-Lewis.
too.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Bogan. He's so good in that.
Dude, Daniel, I drink your milkshake.
Did you know they named...
Fucking amazing.
There's an area in Red Dead Redemption 1 called Plainview. That's how good that movie was, Bogan. A video game had to acknowledge it. That's how good it was.
The video game descended from the heavens.
It had no choice but to acknowledge it.
The superior art form acknowledged it.
There's
I'm also
no,
on the record on saying that it's not a bad movie. In fact, that it's a good movie.
There's no area in Red Dead called Anton Chigurh. Did you know that No Country for Old Men is written by Cormac McCarthy, my favorite writer, who also wrote Blood Meridian? That book I kept talking about, but neither one of you cowards dared to read it.
No.
Okay.
He did like
Cool
Lost
story, bro.
Child or something, and All the Pretty Horses. He's a really good... He also wrote The Road. Did you see that movie with Viggo Mortensen?
Oh, that looked like misery porn.
Oh, it was.
Talking about misery porn, I've watched a Netflix movie called The Devil All the Time.
Talking about misery porn, Daniel, how is your sex life? Got him.
Damn.
Well, wow.
I set him up, you knock him down.
I feel so defeated. I've lost all my energy. I'm logging off now.
I can see you're kind of just becoming an ethereal wisp over there.
I just went on a date last night and it was actually pretty nice, but now I feel like, was it even worth it if Acer and Boken are gonna make fun of me?
Did you tell her that you do a podcast? Girls love a guy who does a podcast.
I did not.
You should have done.
I did not.
You would have totally sealed the deal, my man. Girls love a guy who does a podcast.
I could just picture them going like, like Joe Rogan, and that's when I know. Don't call her back.
You know, this is like serious dating advice. Girls love, and I mean they love, murder mystery podcasts.
This is true.
This is true.
This is actually true.
Girls can't get enough of this.
A lot of girls are really into that shit. I don't know why, but it's true. Most women that I know love that shit.
Yep.
I don't know why.
It's murder mystery podcasts and milk alternatives. So like almond milk or coconut milk or soy milk. What, dairy isn't good enough for you people?
I know some people are lactose intolerant.
I drink soy milk.
Not most of them.
I literally drank soy milk today.
I'm drinking my coffee.
What are you, Bogan?
Right
some
now.
Kind of soy boy?
I'm drinking my coffee right now with oat milk.
Oat milk? That's another one.
Oat milk is good.
I'm making a conscious effort to cut down on any milk products.
You're a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for you.
Are you becoming vegan now, Boken?
I don't think I can ever be vegan, but you know, the stuff that I can replace, why shouldn't I replace it?
You know, Bogan, horse hooves or gelatin is made from horse hooves. Are you gonna stop eating gelatin?
I've stopped eating gelatin a long time ago.
I haven't touched gelatin since I was a child.
I only eat vegan gummy bears.
I can just imagine Boken, his fridge full of gelatin dishes.
Crying as he's scraping it off the plate into the garbage.
I mean, if someone...
I'm sorry, Bucko! Glom.
If someone shoves an open, whatever. Why are we talking about this?
Because we don't have a topic and the podcast is derailed.
We haven't even started with the topics.
That's true.
We had no topics.
You watched a movie on Netflix, Bogan.
Yeah. It was fucking
The
shite.
dab it all the time.
The devil all the time.
That's true.
And
Is it anything like the Devil in the Dark episode from Star Trek?
which one is that?
Like that's like the OG Star Trek.
OG Star Trek sucks.
Fuck
fucking
you.
sucks.
It's great. No, it's great.
Star Trek
No.
fans are gonna come
Dude,
running out of the
Leonard-
woodworks.
Leonard Nimoy and Forrest C. Kelly alone make it worth watching.
William Shatner, Bogan? I like William Shatner. I used to hate him, but now I like him.
You know, it's funny. I actually read a bunch of William Shatner's books recently, and I got to admit, he's a pretty likable guy. Before, I wasn't sure about him, but now I'm like, you know what? You're all right, Bill. You're pretty fun.
He refused. He didn't go to Nimoy's funeral because George Takei was there. That's my understanding.
That is not true.
Oh!
He was at a charity event.
Oh. Oh, so George Takei was the conniving bitch who lied about that.
Yes.
Oh, so George Takei is the jackass.
George Takei is proving to be a bit of a jackass. He was making fun of William Shatner for going up into space. And then Bill
what a
was just
loser.
kind of,
I feel like Daniel has slightly a biased opinion here. I'm not sure I can trust it.
why? Because I read the books?
Yeah.
Well, because he's the son of William
I'm
Shatner.
not sure how many of not sure how many of George Takei's books you have read.
I don't think he has any that I know of. I would read them if they're there.
I only know George Takei from like Futurama and The Simpsons. And that oh my, some do.
What a velvety fucking voice he has. Like,
Did you see that clip?
I'd listen to him just like talk shit for hours.
Did you see that clip where he was jerking that guy off?
What?
I think it's on like the Howard Stern show. It's like a 20-year-old clip. There's like he was jerking some guy off on the show. People can Google that and find that. It exists.
What,
it's
like,
real.
Like literally,
Like
physically,
literally-
hand in pants.
No. Hand on exposed penis. And you can see it all.
No, I don't think I want to see that. I think I'm good.
Okay.
I don't think I need that in my life.
You won't see William Shatner doing that.
Probably not.
Now you know what?
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine working with some guy like 50 years ago and still having a grudge against him. Like, I can buy that.
The thing is, though, like, William Shatner has apologized. He's just like, hey, I made some mistakes. I'm sorry. But, like, they don't want to let go. And they're just like,
What happens
at some
between
point-
them?
So the way that it's described, at least from his perspective, is that the other actors didn't like that he got more screen time, and he was kind of flippant about it because he didn't really see it from their perspective. He didn't really understand because
Wasn't he
one
the main
example he
character?
one example he gave was for one episode, he was looking at the script and he was like, "Oh, this line of dialogue for this person is kind of frivolous. Why is it there? It should probably be cut." Now, Bill, not thinking, "Oh, this line is probably there just for the sake of that character having something to do in the episode." That person is effectively kind of cut from the episode, and they're just not doing anything.
I get it.
And that's why that was one example he gave of why someone might have an issue with him. And he said in retrospect, he was like, okay, yeah, he did not really understand the implications of that for that person. And he realized, okay, yeah, that was my bad. I was being an asshole. I didn't realize that was actively harming that person.
Yeah. He was too focused on making Star Trek the best show it could possibly be to pay attention to those little cretins.
That again sounds like a very biased side of the story, but okay, I don't know any better.
Sure. Hey, I mean,
Like if
I very clearly explained this is from his perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that is 100%
that's
how it is.
that's what
and
I
it.
would be saying if I had to retell that episode and trying to make me not look like a massive asshole.
Yeah, but it's
I
also
don't
like
know
50.
any better.
Isn't it also like 50 years later?
Yeah, I mean, at some
Isn't
point, though,
William
how long
Shatner
are you going to stay
incredibly
mad?
vain?
Like, how long are you going to stay mad over something like that? Like,
Yeah, it's like George Takei's career was not really hurt by William Shatner, I don't think.
I think it would be like if, 50 years from now, Boken was still mad at Acer for like
Making me watch
joke
Yu-Gi-Oh!
on the
Season
podcast.
0?
50 years from now, Boken is still like, I will never forgive Acer for Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0.
We'll be doing episode 10,523, and Bogan will be like, that time you made me watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. I still haven't forgotten about it.
Yeah, if I read some other Star Trek books, from other actors' perspectives, I'll let you know. I did actually read one of Leonard Nimoy's
I love how Daniel is talking about the Leonard Nimoy books for the second time on this podcast in the middle of Boken's topic. Now I'm getting a phone call.
It's not like Boken's topic really matters at this point.
Okay.
But real quick, in Leonard
He's
Nimoy's
going
book,
for it. He's going for it anyway.
I'm going for it. Leonard Nimoy didn't have much bad things to say about William Shatner. So there you go.
Well, they were buddies.
They were buddies.
Leonard Nimoy had like gravitas. Do you think that William Shatner has gravitas? Or do you think he has like boomer grandpa energy who gets mad at Red Letter Media?
I still don't understand. I watched that video and I still didn't really understand what the problem was.
The problem is that there are a billion of idiots on the internet talking to Bill Shatner like as if they're representing Red Letter Media, and he doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
And they keep badgering him about something that they don't even want to talk about. And he takes it seriously.
And he decided to check him out, and I think he got didn't he watch a satirical, what is it?
Yeah, he watched the Nerd Crew episode.
Yeah.
He thought it was legit. He didn't understand that it was a satire.
See, that's the thing though. I think there's a good possibility that William Shatner is just trolling them.
That, I would not put it past him. I honestly wouldn't.
I can totally see him just watching 10 seconds of it and then being having formed his opinion.
Well, right now we're kind of in Schrodinger's William Shatner.
Mm.
We're both realities are equally possible, and we are in this state of unknowing.
That is true.
Talking about Red Letter Media, they also once released a video where they were talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special, and they cut together their discussion before they actually had the discussion, where they were sitting there and trying to get to the topic, and then they got sidetracked for 2 hours or something. And so they uploaded that as an episode, and then later they uploaded the actual discussion which they had after that.
Lol.
That's
what's happening
pretty much
right
what
now?
we're doing right now.
Have you guys seen the Star Wars Holiday Special? I've seen it 5 times.
I've only seen clips of it, and other videos about it.
It's not that good.
Surprising.
Why'd you see it 5 times?
Because I was a fan of this property.
Was past tense?
Yeah, well, I'm not. So I still like occasional stories, and I like The Mandalorian. There's some comics that are good. There's some books that are still coming out that are good. But I'm not a fan of the property in the sense that I'm not going to engage with the property on a daily basis, and the property doesn't excite me anymore. The name Star Wars does nothing for me. If it's good Star Wars, I'll engage with it. If it's just medium Star Wars, then I'll skip it.
So Star Wars is to you what the Fate series is to me right now, where we were both big fans of it, and now we're just like, they massacred my boy, and I don't know, I don't recognize you anymore.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say they massacred it. I think Star Wars... I think
Rise of the Skywalker was a massacre.
Yeah, but I don't... So, I don't think the movies are that important. Like, because it's such a big brand that, like, even if you get one bad movie, you still get, like, 5 good books and 30 good comic runs a year, and that's
Do you really, though? Do you really get any good books? Are any of those books actually good?
The Timothy Zahn books, he did the Thrawn Ascendancy and the Thrawn Deception. I haven't read the third. I don't know if it's out yet. He's the guy who did the original Heir to the Empire. They got him back to do the Thrawn books. Those are really good. Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. I talked about that on the podcast. That details like an early adventure of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. That's really good. Like that's a really good book. That really it fleshes both of those characters out in a way that the Phantom Menace really should have, where they have like banter and they have a really interesting dynamic. And there are still good books out there. I think the Lando books are really good. I haven't read those, or maybe it was the Lando comics. I don't quite know. Like I said, I'm not super engaged with it anymore. But there's still good stuff in the Star Wars sort of periphery that are coming out. And like, if a 2.5-hour movie is gonna ruin your appreciation of like this enormous media conglomerate, then I don't know.
You were never a fan to begin with.
No, it's more that there's so much to enjoy. Like, the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, where he's fighting with Timothy Olyphant, that is so good, and that's like one of the best pieces of Star Wars I feel like we've had in decades.
Which one was that?
That's the one where he gets the Boba Fett armor from Timothy Olyphant.
Oh.
I loved that episode.
I think I loved the one after that with the cave spiders.
That one was also really good.
Those fucking effects blew my mind. They looked so fucking realistic for some reason. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
And it was so, like, such a simple action concept. Go into a cave. Oh my god, there's spiders, get out.
Yeah.
And then that was super exciting.
Yeah. And see, that's what I'm talking about.
Remember when The Mandalorian didn't suck? I remember.
It doesn't suck even now. I don't know what you mean. That last episode really soured
episode
Boken's
does not
appreciation
ruin
of it.
the entire
See,
show.
Boken, that's what I'm saying about the fucking Rise of the Skywalker, where it's like one bad movie and everybody turns off. One bad episode of The Mandalorian and Boken is like, no, I don't like it anymore because of the implications.
One bad movie?
Well, if we're talking specifically Rise of Skywalker.
We're not, though.
Sure we are.
I feel like if Boken were to meet a woman, that would normally be like a 10 out of 10, totally his type. But if she said, oh yeah, I like Code Geass, he would dump her on the spot.
Or if he met like a great woman
also,
and then he found out that she had a tail, Boken would be like, ew, no thank you.
I'm not into that.
I wanted to be on the record that I have listened to us talk about Rise of Skywalker probably 30 times by now. Like, not fully, but I've just been, whenever I go...
What, our commentary?
Yeah. I listen to that shit all the time. It makes me so happy. That's my happy place.
To hear us shit on the movie?
Daniel would probably enjoy A Woman with a Tail because he likes the Tail series.
I see what you did there.
Anyway, we're a half an hour into the episode. Are we gonna do these topics now?
I guess.
So
Boken,
I've watched
how was The Devil?
It was fucking shit.
Oh, what a
terrible.
surprise. Boken watches a bad movie.
I didn't set out to watch a
What
bad
a
movie.
surprise.
It had Tom Holland and
wow.
Robert Pattinson.
Ooh.
Actors don't have any relevance to the quality of a movie.
That's
There's-
not true.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's the faces of the movie are a big reason for why you check out a movie.
Okay, all right, you have all these great actors, and then you find out, oh, this was written and directed by Uwe Boll. The actors don't fucking mean anything at that point.
Yeah.
No, but usually actor like Robert Pattinson has had a pretty good run of good movies recently. Ryan Gosling usually doesn't make trash. Like, good actors select good
Kurt
work.
Russell, Javier Bardem.
Not necessarily.
Like, I don't know what you're trying to argue. It's as if you never watched a movie because there was an actor in it that you liked.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I've never watched a movie specifically because, oh, this actor's in that movie. No, I've always watched movies because that director is someone that I like, and I trust them to make a good movie. Not necessarily that an actor. Like, I appreciate good actors that do good work, but I'm not going to follow them just because they're a good actor, because that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go into a good movie.
Well, yeah, okay. A, bad directors can have bad movies too. B, I think...
Yes, bad directors can have bad movies. That's right, Boken.
I think this director didn't have a lot of previous work, so I couldn't tell if he was good or bad.
I think what you meant to say is good directors could have bad movies, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen good directors come out with shit, but at least there's a better track record with a good director. You're more likely to watch a good Martin Scorsese movie than a bad one. That's not to say everything he's done is golden, but you could at least be pretty rest assured, like, okay, this is a Martin Scorsese movie. It's probably at bare minimum, it's not going to be like absolute shit.
Martin Scorsese specifically, you can like be pretty sure it's not going to be a masterpiece if it came out after Goodfellas, but it's probably going to be like mid, you know?
I don't understand why I'm being judged for having checked out a movie and it wasn't good.
I'm not judging you. I'm just explaining my perspective.
I think Daniel is being a crazy person.
Me too.
How am I being a crazy person?
You just are, and you have to accept that.
I specifically sometimes watch movies because I want to see more of a specific actor's work. That's why I watched Escape from New York recently. That's why I watched the fuck was that Agatha Christie movie?
Hey, Escape from New York was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Death on... What is it called? Death on the...
Nile?
No, not Nile, the other one.
Orient Express?
Orient Express, yeah. I watched that because of Olivia Colman. And that movie was trash.
Not Kenneth Branagh?
No.
I love Kenneth Branagh. He's so good.
I love Olivia Colman.
Well, we will have to agree to disagree.
Who's Kenneth Branagh?
Well, he's Poirot in those movies.
Oh,
He's the teacher from Harry Potter 2 who's pretending to be a good wizard. He directed Robert De Niro in that Frankenstein movie.
Calm down.
He was almost Obi-Wan in the Star Wars prequels.
It's fine, Ethan. No one's going to hurt you.
He's the admiral guy in Dunkirk. He's a good actor, man.
Yeah, okay. I liked him as Poirot as well.
That's good.
But
He
the
also
movie
directed
itself
that movie.
was fucking ass.
Oh my god, he directed that. How dare you say that? I don't care about Kenneth Branagh. No, I like him, but I have no strong
Can you
feelings.
tell me the good movies that Robert Pattinson has done recently? Because
He
outside
did
of the Lighthouse I still have to see.
Like the first example. No, hasn't he been doing like a bunch of weird indie movies?
Like The Devil All the Time?
I don't know.
He was in Night.
He wasn't. He's Batman, Bogan? He's gonna be Batman?
Yeah. So you got nothing, is what you're telling me.
Well, I haven't watched any of those movies, but my understanding is that he's been doing indie movies. If he hasn't, then I'm sorry.
That's my understanding as well. But whenever I see him, he's awful at acting.
He was good in Harry Potter. What are you talking about?
That character in Harry Potter, like that character is written to be sympathized with. Yeah, like you can't fuck that up.
I think you can screw
and he
that
was
up.
he was kind of nothing in that, just like he was in Twilight. And then I watched him in Night, and he tried to do a French accent, and it was embarrassing. And then I watched him in this movie, and Jesus, he had this thick Southern accent, and he was overacting like crazy. And I want to like the guy because I have seen some interview parts of him where he was really funny and relatable, in a sort of like meme depressed kind of way.
Yeah. He's really fun. He and Kristen Stewart are super fun, like as people when you watch interviews with them. But it doesn't often come through in movies, I suppose.
Yeah.
Didn't she cheat on him?
Yeah.
She was like, they used to date, and then she did that Snow White movie, and then she banged the director.
Oh my god.
But yeah, The Devil All the Time, I don't watch it. It's actual misery porn. Like, just people being shit from start to finish for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and nothing has any purpose, and it's just nihilism distilled in a movie form, and it's not fun. It's just awful.
Oh.
Did
you know that a certain ex-president of the United States has like 50 tweets about the Robert Pattinson-Kristen Stewart breakup? I don't want to say his name because I think the YouTube CC algorithm thing catches those things. But yeah.
Or what are they gonna do? Demonetize us?
Well, I guess. Yeah, they don't know who I am.
All
whatever.
those cents gone.
But yeah, you can check that out if you want.
Okay. I've also I watched a playthrough of Life is Strange True Colors.
It's basically the same as playing it.
Yeah, it is. As some will know, friend of the podcast, Jared, a Level Playing Field, has worked on this.
He worked on it.
A level playing field.
Level design was not my issue with it. I can say that much.
All right.
It was kind of, I don't know. It was okay. Had some good parts, and then just overall felt very, very confused. Like, I'm trying to think about everything that happened, and I feel like if you write a cohesive story, then everything that happens should like work towards some kind of theme or message or point. And I didn't get that at all. It's just a bunch of stuff happening. So yeah, not the greatest writing work, I'll say.
Boo. What do you guys feel about these sorts of games generally? Like The Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, it's like...
I mean, if they can be well done, I still think something like... what was it called? Edith Finch.
Well, that's specifically a walking sim.
It is.
I feel like the Telltale games are a little bit different because they also have dialogue.
They're more like movie sims. Or like cutscene sims.
Yeah, Edith Finch. There's more like a... I feel like there's something different in when you look at something like Edith Finch compared to like Walking Dead Season 1.
Yeah.
There's a certain I don't want to say emptiness, but there is I don't know how to explain it. There's a certain quality to like these walking sim games where you kind of feel the emptiness and the stillness of the world that you're exploring in those games, while I think with games like The Walking Dead and the Telltale games, they're far more character driven. While I think walking sims, a lot of it is the experience of kind of walking around this like location that you're in, and kind of it requires the player, typically with those types of games, it really requires the player to piece together themselves what's going on. And that's typically not the case with like a Telltale game where it's a more traditional narrative.
But do you have a different classification for The Walking Dead? If they're not walking sims?
Well, The Walking Dead is not a walking sim.
What is it?
I wouldn't...
No, a walking sim is... those are radically different games. A walking sim,
like
I think of as something like...
Stanley Parable.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of like Dear Esther.
Yeah, sure.
That's like...
Okay,
that's
but then what is
walking
The Walking
sim.
Dead?
I don't know what genre specifically I would say The Walking Dead is, but it's not...
I think a lot of people
walking sim.
throw those together. It's just games that are very narratively focused and don't have a lot of gameplay and not a lot of fail states.
See, I think a walking sim...
Yeah, but those are very broad strokes.
Yeah, a walking sim feels very different. I think that's just a Telltale game. I think that's just the genre name. Like, that sort of episodic Telltale structure.
I don't know.
Because they play very differently, is my point.
They do. Like I said, there's kind of like a stillness in like a walking sim. Almost like a sterile nature to it.
There's a great one called, like, Gone Home or something.
Yeah, I heard good things about that one.
That's a really good one. I think it was made by a bunch of ex-Bioshock 2 developers. But I don't remember.
I believe you're right.
Thank you.
I think one of the Jason Schreier books talked about it. It was either... I'm pretty sure it was in his last book called Press Reset. Because that book kind of got into the developers of BioShock. Yeah, so the developers of BioShock all kind of like broke apart and they kind of just went off and started doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So the book kind of covers that and talks about how one of those splinters made Gone Home.
Yeah. I also think they made that game where you play as that blind woman who like taps her cane and gets echolocation to move. They made another game that was sort of like BioShock. Somebody should do a series on like, hey, what happened to those irrational staffers? But before they do that, somebody should finish their topic.
Have you guys played A Night in the Woods?
No.
No.
I wonder if you would call that a walking sim. I think those narratively driven games need to do something with their gameplay, even if it isn't something difficult. I think that's something that What Remains of Edith Finch got right. Like aside from the exploration of the house, it had some sequences where it did some very interesting things with sort of where you needed to look at the camera while you needed to do something else with the controls and stuff.
I think
you guys might disagree, but I think for a walking sim to be a walking sim, it needs to be first person.
I think it's predominantly been that way. I don't know if it needs to be. See, I grade walking sims on the curve of Dear Esther versus Gone Home, where Dear Esther, you're literally just listening to audio logs while you walk slow as ass from A to B, and there's nothing else going on. You can't screw up, and you have, even if you are faster than the narration, you have to wait for it to finish. Where there is nothing about this work that is propped up by the interactive component other than you can choose to look here rather than here. And stand here rather than here. Whereas Gone Home, that's very interactive, and it's like super contextual clues where you have to like search around in the trash for old notes, and you figure out that, oh, mom got mad because of that thing in the basement, and then you have to figure out how to get into the basement, and you have no idea what that thing in the basement was. That's not an actual example from that game, but like that thing is actual. Like you have to play Gone Home, you can just watch a video of Dear Esther. I feel like I'm still kind of struck by The Walking Dead being classified as a walking sim, because that feels like such a different genre to me.
It's closer to like the point-and-click adventure games minus all the moon logic puzzles.
They got really, they really got rid of the puzzles in Walking Dead, though. The first one had token puzzles, like very first episode, and then they just let that shit go.
Yeah, I guess it didn't flow very well to break up the story. I don't know, I feel
that
like
first Walking Dead game, though, was pretty good, and then they immediately went to shit with seasons 2 and 3.
Yep.
Wasn't the Wolf Among Us well received?
Especially season 3. Yes, it was. Wolf Among Us was well received. Boken doesn't like it, though, but generally it's reflected upon fondly.
How do you know what I think about Wolf Among Us?
I remember you saying you didn't like it.
I really loved the first episode, and then it turned to shit.
See? I wasn't wrong.
No. Also, they weren't well received. I think. Have you guys even played them?
No.
I played through the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and then they turned to absolute shit. And I'm pretty
sure. Not from what I hear. Not from what I've heard. People generally like it.
Who are these people?
What do you mean, who are these people?
They're fucking lying. You can tell how that game went to absolute
I'm not
trash.
lying.
No one said that.
I remember Super Bunny Hop did a review of it, and he said he preferred it over Walking Dead.
Yeah, but Super Bunny Hop also preferred the Artorias of the Abyss DLC to the Old Hunters. So what does he know? No, he's actually really good.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I remember when The Wolf Among Us came out, people generally were pretty positive towards it. I don't know what to tell you.
The first episode was really, really good. And then it had a drastic decline in quality.
If you say so.
And I'm pretty, I don't have proof, but it seemed like there was a very obvious clue as to who the killer is in the second episode. And I think they then started to quickly and hastily rewrite the story to make it someone else.
I remember from watching like a Let's Play of it, wasn't there 2 women in that game who looked almost identical? Who were completely different? Am I wrong about this?
I think so, yeah, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Like they had, because this is like an old animation issue, is that it's very hard for some reason to make pretty women in like more than one way. Whereas like you have to have the small nose and the small cheek and the big eyes, and like there's these standard Disney tricks to how to make a beautiful woman. And because of that, women in animation, when they have to be beautiful, they so often look very samey. Whereas men, they can be as expressive as you want to make them.
In video games, it's also a challenge because long hair in general is difficult to put in games in a way that looks natural. So a lot of games, especially especially in older games, if you notice, a lot of women just have short hair or hair that's like tied up because it's a lot easier to model.
Ah. Oh my god, you're so right though.
Yeah.
Did you know
you just said that I'm wrong, and now you're going, "Oh, I'm right."
No, I didn't say you were wrong. I said yeah.
No, yeah, it's the truth, because if you think about it, especially on older hardware, long hair will just look like a block of shit on their head, and if it doesn't, then it's just gonna clip into things.
You know, what I noticed is that games just refuse to portray someone sleeping with a blanket on. Because it's probably really hard to program the blanket.
You're talking about the
for a lot of
opening
games,
to Ocarina of Time?
For a lot of games, that's right. It is actually really challenging to do something like that. One of the only games I can think of right now at the top of my head that does it is Deadly Premonition.
Oh.
York is under the sheets.
Does it look like shit?
Not really. And that's a game that does look like shit, but like it looks all right. And here's another thing that you'll notice that's not in a ton of games, or they'll do tricks to try and avoid it. Reflections in mirrors, because that's also difficult to. It's difficult because it often uses up a lot of resources in order to render it properly.
Yeah, so they just mirror the room and paste it on the other side. So you're playing both yourself and the other character in the mirror.
But since it eats up so many resources, a lot of times when they do that, they have to make it so that the reflected version is of a lower quality. So like if you look in the mirror, it might look like really pixelated, or they'll obscure it in a way that's really hard to see.
Yeah. Did you know that because cloth used to be such an issue, and I guess this is the topic we're on now, there was one guy who worked on Batman's cape in Arkham Asylum throughout the whole development process, and that was all he did. He spent like 2 years just working on one damn cape.
Hey, you know what? He fucking killed it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
cape looks great.
Oh yeah, he really brought it.
He fucking killed it. So you know what? Your work is not unappreciated. That's like a great fucking cape. One of the best capes in gaming.
And then I think of Bloodborne, and I'm like, damn, fabric is so easy to do now. We take it for granted, but like just 10 years ago, like no, it was actually kind of a hassle to do fabrics.
I feel like fabric isn't quite where it needs to be. I mean, for that where we are now, it feels like very samey. You know what I mean?
You think so?
Like, yeah, I feel like the thickness of the fabric, the weight of it, is, at least in what games I remember, isn't really represented. Like the nuance of movement.
I'm thinking of like the Resident Evil 2 remake, Devil May Cry 5. I think fabric is really entertaining in those games.
I mean, it's cool to see, yeah. I also haven't played a lot of big budget games lately, to be honest. I'm looking at something like Street Fighter 5, for example, where the hair and the clothes, like you can tell where the sort of the character has clothing on, but only specific parts of the outfit will actually flow freely. And it's okay, but it's not totally convincing yet.
Yeah, are you excited for our Game of the Year episode where none of us has played anything this year?
Oh yeah. See, your problem is, Asa, that Final Fantasy Endwalker is coming out. And that means that Daniel and me can just give every award to Final Fantasy.
Excuse me, we're not doing best expansion of the year. We're doing best game of the year.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be Final Fantasy 14. And also
it will be the Final Fantasy 14 awards.
Yeah.
I have a plan. Don't you worry. I've thought this through.
Okay, so I was going to link. I thought I found the original that looks actually like it's a modern edit or something. But
you keep linking these damn videos in these podcasts.
Stop linking when we're recording a fucking podcast. What are you doing?
Here's the rule going forward.
Shut up. I'll do what I want.
Here's the rule going forwards. If you're going to link to videos in the podcast, you have to edit it because you need to make sure it's linked in the YouTube video too.
I ain't doing that.
Well, then we're not talking about this.
Next topic. Actually, one more thing on Life is Strange: True Colors.
Okay.
You
barely talked about it.
As you might remember, the power the main character has the power of empathy in that. Like the main character can feel what the other person is feeling. What's your problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it. I just think it sucks.
Why?
It just sucks. Just sucks.
Just sucks, man. What can I say?
Please use your words. Make an argument.
I just think it sucks.
Why?
What's wrong with you? What? She can't have big muscles. She can't throw a car. No. I know how you're feeling. Yeah, I can do that, Boken. I can look at a person I'm talking to and I get how they're feeling because we have like mirror neurons and semiotics in our heads and we understand that. We're attuned to other people's emotions.
Not if that person is good at hiding their emotions.
Oh, yeah, because this is like saying, oh, yeah, you know what my superpower is? I can touch things really good. It's like, yeah, wow, great power, dude.
That could be a really great power. If you're like a detective.
No.
Yeah.
If you're a detective, you're not gonna be touching stuff. That's like rule 1 of being a detective. Don't be touching stuff.
Or you can touch bullet holes or whatever.
No, you can't. That's fingerprints, man.
Yes,
you're not allowed to touch the crime scene.
I'm sure you can touch the crime scene at some point.
This is the same as going like, oh, you know, my superpower is I'm really good at getting discounts at the store. You know, that's actually a good power because you can save yourself some money.
I mean,
but this one is like, oh no, I you know how every human being is born with the, like, everybody except for sociopaths is born with the ability to feel other people's emotions? Yeah, I can do that too. I'm a bit better at it though. It's weak is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
give me a Batman game.
It's a game in a normal reality. With some powers. So of course she can't throw lightning around.
That would have been way cooler.
See, but the Watchmen was our reality with like one superpowered character, and he was like fucking.
No, there were
awesome.
other superpowered characters. They were like human psychics.
I guess.
Ozymandias created the monster from the brain of a human sensitive. Spoiler alert for Watchmen, everyone.
That's true. You're right. There was a little bit of hyper reality going on there. That's true.
Yes.
See, it's interesting because the power in Life is Strange, it went too far for me. Because what it ended up being is basically a mind-reading power. And I wanted this to be some sort of puzzle game where you get emotional clues or you see these colors of the person, and you need to sort of figure out.
You mean like L.A. Noire?
Yeah, but in not shit. I don't know.
But wait, in the original Life is Strange, I thought it was a time reversing power.
Yeah, it was
not mind reading.
No, I'm talking. What Life is Strange game have I been talking about, Daniel?
I know you've been talking about True Colors. But okay, whatever.
Okay, I didn't. I didn't fully say the title once, and suddenly you think I'm talking about the original.
No, because I thought her power was like reading emotions, so that allows her to read their minds too.
Yeah, well, that's basically what it boiled down to. Is you?
Okay, so you're saying effectively that's what it means.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see their emotions, like they have certain, red for anger and all that shit, and then you can just walk up to the person. And then you will literally hear their thoughts and know what's going on, what they're thinking about. And I wish, like, that feels like such an easy cop-out to me. And also that character then later gains the ability to just take the emotions away, which is really fucked up.
That sounds
just drain,
really weird.
Drain a person of their sadness. Okay, that's going to end well, I think. So
they can no longer feel sadness ever again.
Yeah, and then that person kind of ends up like a potato almost.
That sounds really fucked up.
It is, and it isn't acknowledged to a degree that I would have liked. And yeah, so the power that she has is more than just seeing what other people feel. But I wish it was just getting more nuanced emotional clues for the people and then having to, through, I don't know, deduction and talking and observation, really figuring out what these people are thinking about and what their motivations are. But I guess that would be really hard to write. I'm not sure how I would do that, but just walking up to a person and knowing exactly what they're thinking felt kind of lame.
Yeah.
Felt kind of easy.
It's almost like somebody here knew that this was going to be a lame power, and somebody was like, "No, what do you mean? It could be a good power." But then it turns out to be shit.
Well, it's. I think reading minds is not a lame power by itself.
No, reading minds is not a lame power.
Yeah, that's what she did. So it's not a lame power. So you're wrong.
You said she can read people's emotions. That is very different.
Yeah,
if Charles Xavier is a cool guy. He's like a crazy guy.
Are you
but he's
listening
a cool
to
guy.
me or?
You said she can read people's emotions, and I was like, that's a dumb power. And then you went, but it basically boils down to being that she can read people's minds. If you would have started with that, I would have been like, yeah, that's a cool power.
Yeah, that's why I said that's the irony, because there is more to her power, but I wish there wasn't. Because I think there being more to her power made it less interesting.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't played those games. I just have strong feelings. I'm sorry.
Okay. Daniel, what have you been doing?
Me? Oh, just a few things. Like watching Pink Floyd's The Wall. What a weird movie. But a really good one. Have either of you guys listened to Pink Floyd or watched The Wall?
No.
No.
No?
What a great topic, Daniel.
I don't listen to Dad. Well, that's not true. I do listen to Dad Rock.
You're gonna really fucking call Pink Floyd dad rock? Come on.
Are they not?
They're like the granddads of progressive rock.
So Dad Rock.
No. Dad rock is like AC/DC.
Nah. I think
Yeah.
there can be different types of Dad Rock.
Motley Crue, that's dad rock.
Yeah, I think a lot of dads
Aerosmith.
like Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd is not dad
Deep
rock.
Purple.
Get out of here.
I like Deep Purple.
I think aren't they radically different, Pink Floyd and Deep Purple?
Yeah, they're not the same at all.
But they're both the granddads, or part of the granddads of progressive rock, right?
Is Deep Purple?
I guess.
What about okay, so Daniel, I actually lied. I have listened to a lot of Pink Floyd. I lied because I didn't want to talk about music. But isn't like Led Zeppelin the granddaddy of? No, I don't know.
Led Zeppelin is just the granddaddy.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, there's a lot of bands who have gotten who have been laying the foundation for progressive rock and metal. I mean, so Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yes.
All that experimental rock
Crimson.
shit.
King Crimson from JoJo.
King Crimson. That's true.
From JoJo.
You're from JoJo.
Specifically that character.
Yes.
He's been doing a lot of pioneer work in music.
So I saw Pink Floyd's The Wall, and there's hardly any dialogue in that movie. It's really interesting, though, because I don't think it needed it. And you might think okay, is the movie just one big music video? It kind of is, but at the same time it isn't, because it still feels like a cohesive narrative. It's just told in a unconventional way. So a lot of it has to do with the main character's name is Pinky, and it shows what he was like when he was a kid, when he grew up to be like a rock star, and then when he became like a Hitler allegory, basically.
It's just the story of The Wall, except they made a movie.
Yes. So watching the movie, I gotta say, first of all, of course, the music is great. I don't think I really need to say that, but I'll say it anyways. Yeah, the music is fucking badass. It's fucking amazing. But as I was watching the movie, I I was really taken aback by how visually just striking it was, because it kind of just goes. It felt very ethereal. It kind of goes from like live action to animation to back to live action. But even like a lot of the animated segments were very dreamy and just kind of out there and strange. Some of the live action portions were just as strange. You know, you had that part where you've probably seen it from like the music video where like we don't need no education, like the kids are like walking through like this machine and they're coming out with these these deformed faces. And kind of the message that I took from the movie was basically like it was like this huge criticism of the UK school system, as well as just how the government works and society.
Did Roger Waters say we live in a society at some point?
He might as well have.
Did you know that Gerald Scarfe, who oversaw the animations on that movie, also worked on Hercules? Disney's Hercules.
Interesting. I buy it though. That for some reason that I think that just hearing that I think it checks out. Watching this movie though, because I saw this after watching Doug Walker's video on it, and even having not seen the movie, I could tell like, yeah, this is a bad video. But now having watched the movie, I'm like, I could truly appreciate how bad his video was. Like,
I love how no Pink Floyd conversation is complete without a mention of that damn video he made. That's like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series has sort of become a big part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. Yeah. That damn video has sort of become this cancerous growth on the Pink Floyd community.
I feel bad for them, but you're not wrong. But like, now having seen the movie, like I'm just like, wow, Doug, you really fucked it up. Like you really just didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Like, okay, I mean, even having without seeing the movie, I was just like, wow, this video is terrible. But like, I couldn't truly appreciate the depths of it, of what an atrocity it was. And now I'm just like, Doug, it's time to retire. Just stop. You're done. Like,
how's he gonna dig his way out of that one? Because his name is Doug.
Dig Doug?
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. But anyways, yeah, it's a really good movie. I recommend it. Good stuff. So I'd also been playing some Metroidvanias.
Do you have to have a high IQ to understand this movie?
Oh, the highest. At times, even I struggled. I was like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm galaxy-brained enough for this.
Is there any point where he becomes Pickle Pinky?
No, but there's a point where it becomes a flower.
That's not a pickle, though.
No.
Do you know what I'm referencing?
But he turns into a flower that jams into a vagina flower.
Oh.
Yeah, the movie has some weird things to say about like Pinky's. I don't know about problem with women, but like his fear of women, which is kind of strange. But it's pretty clear watching the movie that it's semi-autobiographical, and obviously he never turned into like a Nazi leader, but that part of the movie...
I'll never say never. Roger Waters may surprise you.
Well, that part of the movie specifically is about how Roger Waters was disappointed in a subset of his fans and also in himself that there were Nazi sympathizers that were able to misinterpret his music as being something that was something that they could relate to. And he saw that as like a personal failure of himself. That's something like that could happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, good movie.
I
Definitely
think
check it
it's
out.
because he's been super vocal about like the Israel-Palestine issue. He has a lot of opinions on that. I think that may be why it happened, rather than because of the music he wrote.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been playing some Metroidvanias, specifically Metroid Dread and Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
Those classic Metroidvanias.
Yeah. So Metroid Dread so far is pretty awesome. I haven't finished it yet, but I think I'm like halfway through it, and this is easily one of the best Metroid games to come out in a long time. I was a little skeptical about this game because
Is this not the only Metroid game that's come out in like 10 years or something?
Well, the last one that came out was a 3DS game.
Well, yeah, so this is the best Metroid game, one of the best that's come out in a long time. Like, yeah, it's the only one that's come out in a long time.
Wasn't there like that shit one with the company or whatever? No.
With
where you didn't
Ninja
even
Theory?
play Samus?
Oh yeah, that's Earth Defense Force or something like that. No wait, not Earth Defense
No,
Force.
that's
That's something else.
What, other M?
From
no.
the Wii?
Wait, is it Earth Federation Force? Something
I think
like that.
Federation Force sounds right. No, I don't know. Whatever. We know what we're talking about.
So,
and then there was that remake.
So yeah, then there was Samus Returns on the 3DS, which was made by the same studio. So Samus Returns and Metroid Dread, both made by Mercury Steam. Is it Steam or Stream? I don't remember. Anyways,
I don't think anybody knows.
I was a little bit nervous about Dread being made by those guys because while Samus Returns wasn't bad, it wasn't great. It was fine. It was just fine. But Metroid Dread so far has been awesome. I see some people saying that it is like on the same level as Super Metroid. I don't know about that. I'm not quite there yet. I'm like, Super Metroid's a classic. I don't know about that. But it is very good. It is. I do feel pretty comfortable saying it's a high tier Metroid game so far. And it's pretty challenging. One thing that really surprised me, because mostly Metroid games are not extremely difficult games. This game is hard. Like, I've died multiple times. It's not an easy game.
Did you get past that part that David Jaffe got mad about?
Oh, I wanted to bring this up too.
Oh, yeah, that's David Jaffe's an idiot.
I watched that video. I mean, I don't know shit about Metroid. And I kind of got what he was talking about. But I also didn't really look into what the actual context clues are supposed to be in the game. Because what he looks at is, okay, it's slightly redder and there's some lighting on it, but it still looks like a bit of bullshit that you have to shoot that. I get what he's talking about.
I don't think so. I don't think it is bullshit. Because there's like, right when you come in the room, there's like an enemy that's like placed right there, just basically saying shoot here, and it shows you, oh, okay, you can progress from there.
David Jaffe has sort of turned into the Randy Quaid of the gaming industry, where he just comes across as this raving crazy person. And I always have to remind myself that this guy made the first God of War. So like there is
we're just about a raving crazy person.
Yeah.
I always like there is an immense depth there because this guy was able to make God of War, but at the same time, I'm always disappointed when I see one of his videos because I'm like, why aren't you better spoken? Why don't you shave?
Yeah, see, that's my problem. Is I get where he's coming from. I'm also willing to check out what the specifics of that game design is. If it's like, it seems to be something that Metroid fans are very vocal and defensive about. But the way he comes out of that, like he doesn't make the point. He makes the point by insulting everyone else. So you already have like stopped the conversation from happening. Or like being open-minded about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a big problem that a lot of people have with his approach is, he has a bad attitude about it, but he also acts like he's like the arbiter of like good game design, and he's just like, this is just bad game design, and people are only defending it because it's Metroid, and it's like, no, no, dude, maybe, I think because it comes across like because he's a game developer, like his opinion matters more than everyone else's. And we need to just listen to him and shut up.
Obviously, I, as the only game designer of this podcast, heartily endorse that worldview.
But, like, I think you also need to appreciate this, Boken. Who other than David Jaffe have you heard this complaint about?
No one. I don't
Exactly.
follow this. But everyone I follow on Twitter is like a hardcore Metroid stan.
The point I'm making, though, is that literally only David Jaffe is complaining about this. So is it really a huge fault with the game design, or is it Dave Jaffe's a fucking idiot?
I don't know. I have played no Metroid. I don't know.
Decide, okay, Boken. Well, decide.
Okay, well, to be fair, I've beaten almost every 2D Metroid with exception to like the NES one and like the Game Boy one. But I've beaten literally all the other ones. I've beaten Super Metroid, Zero Mission, Fusion, Samus Returns, the unofficial remake AM2R. And I'm like halfway through Metroid Dread. Like, I'm pretty experienced when it comes to Metroid.
But maybe that's the problem. I think that's David Jaffe's.
Sure, maybe that's what I was going to say. Like, yeah, maybe
point,
maybe I'm too. Yeah, that's my point. Maybe I'm too entrenched. Maybe I'm too into the series, and I don't see it as an issue. I can at least appreciate that. Maybe, like, I wouldn't say if you're a newcomer to start with Dread, because I think Dread is too challenging. This feels like a game made for people that have been playing the games for a long time now and want something to come in and kind of like slap them around a bit.
You think maybe he's coming at this as a newcomer?
I mean, I don't know what his prior experience is with Metroid, but judging from the way he's acting, this looks like this is either his first Metroid or his prior experience is very limited.
We're calling you out, David Jaffe, you hack.
I mean, he literally says that, right? He says, oh, Metroid has always been this way, is what people are saying. Then Metroid has always been shit. I think that's almost verbatim what he said.
I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but if it is, then that is fucking ridiculous.
I want to say that's the clip I saw.
You know what, guys?
Super Metroid is like one of the most influential games of all time.
Guys, you just have to acknowledge the balls of a man just destroying his credibility by throwing that out there. Like, yeah, I'll anchor an entire subsection of the internet dying on this useless hill. Whatever.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread is good, but again, I don't know if since Boken, you've never played a Metroid game before. I don't know if I could readily recommend it. I think you might get frustrated with it because it is pretty hard. But
or maybe you.
I mean, you're a little baby and you need your blankie, so.
Lol.
But no, I'm not. No, I don't mean that. Speaking seriously, I don't mean that in the sense of like I don't think you can handle it. I just mean it in the sense that this game is clearly not made to be played by people who are newcomers. This feels like something that was meant for the fans. So it's not something I would readily recommend to like a newcomer. But maybe you'll still enjoy it because I do know you like these types of games that have a sense of challenge to them. So maybe you will actually really enjoy it. I don't know. And speaking of which, I've also been playing Circle of the Moon because they recently released the Castlevania Advance Collection. And this is the only GBA Castlevania game that I haven't like played through and finished.
After all the shit Daniel has given me for my Yu-Gi-Oh love that how can you continue to support Konami financially, and then he does
I
this.
never said that. I literally never said that.
That's true. That is true. You
But-
never said that.
But
I shouldn't have lied. I was uncalled for.
that was a huge fib.
Well,
So, Boken, have you played this one, Circle of the Moon?
I have, but I haven't beaten it. I remember it getting really hard, and then I just kind of stopped. Specifically, the sewer section. And, like, that was so hard. And then at some point, I found out, after I had stopped playing the game, that you can actually drain the sewers of the poison. And that makes it way easier. And I tried to get through there with the poison intact. And that was so fucking hard. But what I played up until then was great. The soundtrack is amazing. I still listen to that outside of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I remember you saying that Order of Collesia is your favorite.
Yeah, Circle of the Moon is pretty high as well, though.
Yeah, so I when I first played Circle of the Moon, I played the GBA version in high school, and I got to Dracula, but I just could not beat Dracula. Like, he kicked my ass so hard, and I gave up. So I'm trying to rectify that. I'm trying to beat it this time, so I can finally say, yes, I've beaten all the GBA and DS Castlevania games. But
I'm never going to make it through Portrait of Ruin. I hate that game.
why do you hate that game?
Because I don't...
What?
It's just... I found it fucking boring. It had so many dumb side quests that I didn't care about. None of the bosses were particularly interesting. Just...
I agree that it's like probably the worst of the DS Castlevanias, but like, it's not terrible. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of the odd one out.
I really just replay Order of Ecclesia or Dawn of Sorrow.
I feel, to me, it's kind of like the harmony of dissonance of the three. It's not bad. It's just the most forgettable.
Yeah.
Harmony of Dissonance, I played a little bit of that because, of course, it was included in the collection. And yep, that game is still just kind of there. Like, it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's you're running around the castle. You're swinging around the whip. It's fine. The weird thing about Circle of the Moon, though, is that was not made by Igarashi. Like, that's one of the... I think that's literally the only game in the series, and at least in this style, that wasn't made by him. And it's kind of a shame. It feels like it's like peering into like an alternate universe almost, of like, oh, what if, Castlevania was headed by this team, this weird team that we don't know about instead. And I think it's kind of a shame. I would have liked to have seen them have another crack at it, because I think Circle of the Moon, is one of the better ones. It's really good. And I think this advanced collection makes it even better, because one of the things I fucking hated about Circle of the Moon was only very specific random enemies drop those cards. And you would have to look up a guide in order to find out which enemies drop those cards. But this advanced collection has like a little widget on the side. It pops up whenever you fight enemies. It's like, oh, this enemy drops a card. So there's no guesswork anymore. There's no looking up guides. It just, here you go.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
I remember that being an issue in what was the recent one called that wasn't in Castlevania?
Bloodstained,
yeah. Where at some point you needed to figure out that you need to find a specific fish power and then dive down into some part of the map that you wouldn't necessarily know about. And if you didn't have the power, that was really shitty.
No, yeah, that was a problem. That part of the game kind of sucked. I agree. But the problem with Circle of the Moon, because the thing is, at least in Bloodstained, you know that every single enemy has a soul. All of them have a soul. All of them have some sort of ability for you. In Circle of the Moon, only very specific enemies drop cards.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority of enemies don't give you shit.
But in Bloodstained, most of the sort of traversal important ones that let you access new areas are made clear, and they're coming from boss fights and shit. And that was just that is one power, one out of all of them that is important for traversal that comes from some random enemy that you wouldn't know is important.
That is true. I agree with that. That was definitely a misstep on their end. They should have made that come from a boss instead, and they should have made its importance clear. I agree. And I will at least grant this to Circle of the Moon. You don't need any of the cards for progression. They're just meant to help you, get new spells and help you fight better.
That game is fucking hard.
It is hard, but I am determined to beating it because I want to be able to finally kind of... Like, whenever I play a game and I don't finish it, there's always that nagging feeling of, you should go back and finish it. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I always have just that little voice in the back of my mind just going like, hey, when are you going to go back and finish it?
I used to have that.
Not anymore?
Nah. Now I'm like, you know what? You put this down for a reason.
I'm not like that. Unless I just hate the game. But if I don't, and it's like... Because usually I don't put it down because I dislike it. It's usually because I get excited for something new that came out. And it kind of like took over.
Do you have undiagnosed ADHD?
I do not have ADHD, no. That is like... Out of all the things to accuse someone of ADHD of, that has to be one of the lamest.
I have ADHD. Shock.
So, Acer, speaking of ADHD, you've been playing Fallout.
I have been playing Fallout.
How is it?
I was gonna start speaking, and then you keep running your mouth.
I tend to do that.
So specifically, I played Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4 in that order. Which of these games have you guys played?
See, I'm disappointed because I thought you meant that you played the first Fallout.
I've played the first Fallout. But which one of these games have you guys played?
I beat Fallout 3. I got halfway through New Vegas. I have never touched 4.
And you, Bogan?
I got halfway through Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and I've beaten Fallout 4.
Okay.
You beat the shittest one.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, I don't know. I never played it.
No, it's terrible. It's a fucking shit game.
No,
I hear everyone
not a shit
always
game.
No, shut the fuck up, Ace. It's shit.
No, it's not. It's not as good as the previous games, but it's not a shit game. It's a very, very good game that iterates on some aspects of the Fallout license very well, others not so much.
I will not stand here and let you describe Fallout 4 as a very, very good game.
I
do not allow it.
If you ignore the horrendously bad role-playing system, then there's a really good game in there.
And if you ignore the shitty base building, if you ignore the terrible story, if you ignore the terrible character writing, all of it is shit.
Not all of it. I think no Fallout game has done exploration as well. I don't think this is the most interesting world they've ever built, but this is the best world they've built purely on like technical grounds. So like Boston, there's a lot of elevation to like the buildings, and that's obviously possible because of the new technology. They wouldn't have been able to do that back in the Fallout 3 days. But they've also, I feel like level design is a bit better. I spent a lot less time in Fallout 4 walking into rooms that didn't do anything because they put either fewer of those in there, or because of the crafting system, even if the only reward in a certain room is like a teacup, that can be of some utility because you always need some ceramics. So it's a good game. really wish
it's not.
no, it is a good game. I really wish it had better role. Like I really wish it had any role playing, and I wish it had a good story. I think I'll agree on those two. But like
Fallout 4 is the game that introduced dialogue wheels to Fallout and then kept shortening the responses so that you don't know what the fuck you're saying anymore.
Yeah, like I said,
it's it the game that spawned like agree and then your second option being agree sarcastically.
Yeah, I didn't. So here's the thing, I'm not doing any of the quests in this game. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying it a bit more than you are. My whole deal, I'm just doing the exploration, specifically because I'm taking a lot of notes from the Fallout games in terms of open world design, because I'm back to developing my game, and in terms of just the actual structure of an open world, I find Fallout 4 to be the most interesting, because they weren't as limited by what they could do as before. And because my game is in 2D, I also don't have a lot of the same 3D issues that they had, so I can do a lot more conceptual stuff than they could have. Maybe execution, not so much. But I'm getting a lot of really interesting ideas from Fallout 4.
Okay, maybe, I mean, in addition to me just not liking that game, I also just don't like Fallout in general, because I don't like post-apocalypse as a setting.
Interesting.
But I don't think you can just play this and ignore the role-playing, the story, the base building, basically everything except the level design. And
you
then
didn't
tell
like
me
the
it's a
base
good
building?
game. No.
Why not?
Because it's an open-world exploration game, and I don't want to sit down in my home base and do base building for no good reason.
Then you don't have to.
Yeah, so it's pointless.
No, because some people really enjoyed that.
I saw no reason to engage with it, so it's badly designed for me.
I feel like if you want to roleplay as like a mayor, that's an avenue that's now open to you from that system.
Then I want a focused game about role playing as a mayor, not an open world exploration game that gives me no reason to engage with the system that it built up. Like this is the big new feature that it has, and it's pointless.
Can I ask you two questions? First of all, just yes or no. Do you think they created the loot system for this game as like a soft introduction because they knew they were going to make Fallout 76 and knew it was going to have to work there?
Seems likely, but I've not played Fallout 76.
All right. Another one. Do you think you would have forgiven the base building if the role-playing had been solid? So, like, because I think just building a base, there is something about that really appeals to me in, like, again, in that role-playing as a mayor idea. Because, like, you're actually able to create your community and the, like, trade routes. And I think it's interesting, again, conceptually. In fairness, I haven't engaged with it that much in the game. I don't know how they do it. I think there's something really interesting about that role-playing fantasy because I don't think I've seen it in a game like this before. So I'm wondering if it's the base building or if it's the loss of an RPG system that is annoying you.
I don't think I can name an open world or RPG that has a base building element that was well implemented. Because at the end of the day, what these base buildings usually come down to is either they give you money or they force you to come back to do some defense shit once in a while. True. And it's just annoying. And like when you are there to explore the world, having to constantly come back to a specific place in the world is just, it's counterproductive.
Did you like the one in Pillars of Eternity?
No.
Really? I liked it because my guy was like a lord. I had my own mansion and everything.
Yeah, but there was no point to it. I was trying to follow the story.
I actually agree with it. It felt really kind of undercooked.
Yeah. In Pillars of Eternity 2, it was great because there you had your house, your village was your ship that you took to the new places that you had to go to.
That's interesting.
So I only bought Fallout 4 because I heard they're planning on remaking it into New Vegas through a mod.
Well, yeah, that's going to be really fun in 10 years when that finally releases.
When I heard that they were doing that, I was like, oh, it's on sale for like $4. Why not?
See, this is one of the... I think Fallout 4 also is a great example of what I've been complaining about, but you guys keep saying I'm wrong about this, is that I hate voiced characters in these sorts of games. If I'm playing a role-playing game, I don't want the characters talking. I want them to shut the hell up, and I just want to read the text. Because the text is going to be way more powerful, it's going to be much better implemented, you can do much more with it. I go back to the Morrowind sort of wiki branching system that did way more to sort of build up the world. And also because, I think, just from a design perspective, I think the reason you have that shitty dialogue wheel is because they have a voiced character, and all of a sudden you can't have incredibly elaborate texts of dialogue because you only, like, you have to pay somebody to actually read it all out now.
Yeah, totally. Like 100%, that's correct.
Yeah, you guys have not been in
voice acting hurts
so
RPGs.
I don't see why you think we'd fight you on this.
Yeah. You guys have fought me on this like 5 different times as we've been making this damn podcast.
This is such
That's
a
not
lie.
true.
No. Everybody, it's gonna... Oh my god. Everyone listening, please go to the logs. I distinctly remember being told that, no, it's great that Disco Elysium has voice acting.
Yeah,
because now you get to listen to... Now you get to listen to these dumb
on.
voice actors give their interpretation of these texts.
Hold on, Acer. Disco Elysium was made without a lot of voice acting. Most of it was
and that's
text.
Probably better.
That's why now, with the voice acting coming in later through a free patch, you can have the huge, diverse dialogue trees and also listen to great voice acting. I don't hate voice acting. I hate when the voice acting budget cuts into the dialogue trees, which in Disco Elysium didn't happen, clearly.
Well.
So, in the case of Knights of the Republic 2, I think part of the reason why the dialogue system is so good in that game is because they were able to just write it out and not have to worry about the voice acting, especially when you consider how that game was made in like, what, a year, under a year, a few months, something insane like that. So...
It was like 8 to 10 months or something, I don't remember.
It was something ridiculous like that, right?
Yeah.
But... because of the dialogue system being the way that it was, not have to worry about the voice acting. You didn't have to like go into the booth and be like, okay, we have the male version of the character, we have the female version of the character, and they have to say all these fucking lines. That dialogue system was able to be as good as it was. That being said, I don't think that if we were living in an alternate universe where that game was able to get the love it deserved, if the team after the fact was able to patch in voice acting, I don't think that would suddenly ruin it.
I guess it comes down to what Bogan said earlier about whether or not it actually, like, for Fallout 4, I think I don't know, but it seems to me like the voice acting, just that system really hurt the role-playing and the writing. It really, really hurt it. Whereas if you're patching in the audio after the fact, maybe not so much. But I also don't like characters talking to me while I'm trying to read their dialogue. So there's that. But which games do you like better? Fallout 3 or New Vegas?
I mean...
based on what I played, New Vegas.
Based on what I've seen and heard, also New Vegas. And
but
also,
you've played half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played up until the point where you meet Benny again.
That's not... I wouldn't say you've played half of it, then. You've played, like, the first third or something.
Okay, fine.
You've barely played it, Bogan.
Yeah.
Unless you were just in a desert.
That's fine. And I've seen... like, I played it before I really got into the whole criticism thing. So... then after the fact, when I realized what a good RPG is, I saw a lot of evidence by other people pointing towards New Vegas just being a really great RPG. So that's why I'm interested in playing it again. But I'm not interested in Fallout.
I like Fallout 3 better when I was playing it, but looking back, I think Fallout New Vegas is a stronger game. I really want to sit...
I think Fallout 3, but like I feel like it's a more accessible game to just jump into, while Fallout New Vegas feels more deliberately designed in a way that isn't as easy to just jump into and do whatever you want.
Also,
but in the end, it leads into a more fulfilling experience.
See, yeah, I feel like also Fallout 3 is very much made to be accessible to people, whereas Fallout New Vegas feels more like it was written specifically for Fallout fans. And I actually think I like Bethesda's universe better than Obsidian's. I think because in both Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and 76, Bethesda has had this sort of running theme of the maintenance of America as a system. To the point, like, you have in Fallout 3, you have the Enclave, and you have, like, the digital President Eden. And I find that to be such an interesting theme that I don't really see in... I didn't see it that much in New Vegas. New Vegas was more just about this sort of... you have Caesar's Legion, and you have the New California Republic, and there's no, like, illusion that... it wasn't the whole sales pitch of Fallout 4 that they're gonna go out and rebuild America? I don't remember. But I think I like that aspect of it. And I one day want to sit down with Todd Howard on one hand and like Josh Sawyer on the other and just ask them, like, what is it that you think Fallout is? What is it that you think Fallout is that explains why these games are so radically different? I also think Fallout 3 is maybe a better exploration game than it is a role-playing game. Because like
I think I agree. Like when I think back to my memories of Fallout 3, I don't really think about like the quests that I did.
Yeah.
I just think about exploring the wasteland.
Yeah. My best Fallout 3 memory when I was like most engaged with the game was like 40 minutes after I booted it up and I was like out of the vault. I was in downtown post-apocalyptic DC. I think I had like a BB gun and I had a pistol that I had exhausted all my ammo shooting some scorpion or something, and I was being fired on by a gang of raiders, and I was just hiding behind a rock. And that was me playing it for like 7 minutes. I was just hiding there and just like, when can I move? And I was like, this is a really good sort of atmosphere that I'm getting from this game, and I really appreciate this. Whereas with Fallout New Vegas, when I think about that was more, when I think about my most fond memory from that, that's like playing the power game and thinking like, who am I gonna side with? And which like power faction am I gonna engage with right now to obtain my ends? So yeah. I liked all 3 games. Not as much all of them, though.
So did you? So I know that Fallout New Vegas is like pretty unstable as is. Did you mod it a lot, or did you just go and like raw dog in it?
No mods. Actually for Fallout 3, I had to mod out the Windows Live feature, which they then removed like a week after I beat it. Just like randomly they modded, they patched that out. So I was that was all I did. I haven't played with any mods yet.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I didn't come across any stability issues for 76 for New Vegas either. And I'm probably not going to play 76. That doesn't seem like my type of game.
76 does not look very good. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. What are you guys up to? Plug your shit. Boken, what's up? What do you got in the pipeline?
I'm in Shadowbringers now.
Your life is Shadowbringers.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
That's my project. Is getting through Shadowbringers.
All right, and I'm assuming when you finish Shadowbringers, Well, Endwalker's coming out pretty soon, though. So do you want to wait
That's
until...
exactly why I need to get through Shadowbringers.
Okay.
I don't have
Do you
time
guys-
for anything
Does
else.
Okay.
Do you guys regret starting to play this game because of the psychological
no.
pain it causes me?
If anything, that's the cherry on top.
Do you guys know what I was going to ask is? Does either one of you regret not making videos detailing your journey in here's my monthly diary
I do
of
have
just
a video in the
talking
works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's not specifically about my journey through FF14, but that is like tangentially a part of the video.
All right.
I mentioned it to you before. It's a good chunk of the video is me bitching about RuneScape.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, yeah, I just haven't gotten around to making that because I've also been helping out other creators. So I just finished wrapping up.
Who are these other
something
creators? Are you cheating on us?
Yeah, so I have a friend named Tark's Gauntlet. He has a video coming out where he asked different creators to recommend short games because his channel is all about RPGs, and he wanted a video from other creators talking about short games to play in between like other bigger, longer games. Yeah. So I made like a short little thing talking about a short hike because that game's great.
I hear nothing but good things, mainly from you.
As you should. There's another video. I may have mentioned it before, but my friend Alex, his channel is called Backlog Battle. Mm-hmm. He asked a couple of different creators because Tales of Arise came out recently, and it's been a pretty big game that a lot of people were excited for, and it's a lot of people's first foray into the series. So he wanted Tales of Veterans to kind of recommend another game in the series to play after you're done with Arise. So I created like a short little video segment for him, basically recommending Tales of Berseria, which I think has one of the strongest stories in the series. And finally, I'm currently in the middle of helping another creator. Her name is Pixel a Day, and she has a retrospective of Ninja Theory's total like gameography. And she has no experience with Devil May Cry, and she needed the perspective of a fan to explain just what the fuck was going on with the reboot, why there was this fan backlash, and just to give a like context and perspective, basically. So that's what I've been doing, and after I finish that, I will finally get back to that MMO video, and then hopefully wrap up some other stuff that I've had pending for a while. So
Okay.
what are you working on, Acer?
Like I said, I've come back to programming. Having released the snail game experiment, I know finally how to structure my game, and I'm building a prototype of the game right now.
By ripping off Zelda. Sweet.
Yeah, basically. my thinking is I want to do a role-playing game one thing I don't like about a lot of those role-playing games is that they're always these 70-hour epic adventures. You can make a role-playing game that's just like 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, you go from a nobody in a village to being like a dominant power in some region, or you can do like this guild or whatever. Like, I don't understand why it always has to be so long. And so that's one thing I'm going to work on as I just go on and make the prototype. It's also really fun because I'm creating a bunch of new systems to use. So Snail is the game I released. I'm just using that as like a module to play with my new systems, and it's like, well, what happens if I add, say, a bow to this game? Oh, this is what happens. What happens if I add armors to this game? Oh, this happens, and it plays like this. So that's really fun. I'm kind of modding my own game, which is really fun. But I'm also going to be releasing, probably it'll be out by the time this video is out, is my next Silent Hill video. It's like a half hour long, basically talking about a bunch of Eastern themes that got lost, like that not got lost, but that people don't really talk about when they talk about Silent Hill, because they're never like it. It's always seen from this very Western perspective, because it's like it is an Eastern game for a Western audience, but it is still an Eastern game, and a lot of the sort of abnormalities of the series can't be explained if you just tie them back to some Eastern ideas. Specifically, like, so Leonard in the third game, you fight him in the basement, and he's a monster in a pool of water, and there's a reason for that. So that's gonna be that, and then who knows?
Cool. All right, everyone. That's been the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. We will probably come back. I think you wanted to do a movie commentary on Dune or something. We might do that. I don't know.
We are gonna do. There's no might. We've decided on it.
You already agreed.
I did. Shit.
You're not getting out of this.
All right.
David Lynch's Dune, people.
David Lynch's Dune.
And by the way,
I might watch the new one too.
By the way, there's an extended cut.
Is there? Is that the one we're doing?
I don't know.
Oh shit!
How long is the novel movie?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Have any of us read the novel?
Yeah, Asa probably.
I
Are you a Frank Herbert stan?
I feel like I've been talking about these damn novels nonstop for the past 3 weeks, Daniel, and you with your boomer mind. Yeah, I've read the first 4 novels. I haven't read Heretics of Dune or Chapter House Dune.
I see. So I do remember a Penny Arcade comic a long time ago, where the entire comic was just one of the characters saying that if Frank Herbert were still alive right now and he read one of these new books, he would be rolling in his grave.
I've never read the new books, so I don't know. I also don't really want to. I don't care about those.
Yeah, my dad said that he only liked the first Dune book and he didn't like anything after that. He said it felt like the author just didn't want to be writing anything past the first book.
Well, that's his take.
That is his take. That's it, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.